What an infuriating and sad day. I guess all the baby oil paid off for P Diddy because he was too slippery for the justice system. I cannot believe it. They have now reached a verdict on all the charges, and he has been acquitted of the most serious ones. The Lord of Lube wiggles his way out of it somehow. Despite overwhelming evidence to support the allegations against P. Diddy about the decades worth of evil, criminal activities and actions he has done, terrorizing the music industry and so many individuals, it seems like the dawn of dildos is about to get away with a slap on the wrist. And maybe not even that much. He has been found guilty on 2 of the lesser charges, which could carry a maximum of 20 years in prison. But I've completely lost faith in the system here. I have to imagine this is all just now horseradish and barnacles. I think he will probably just get away with like 6 months probation or some shit.
5 counts. We have a mixed verdict here. Again, count 1, as it relates to racketeering, not guilty. Count 2, as it relates to sex trafficking, not guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, guilty.
Those 2 counts he was found guilty on, that was like Weenie Hut Jr. level charges compared to the rest, and it's something the defense, I imagine, was extremely pleased to have been found guilty on versus the rest. They were so happy, in fact, that reportedly P. Diddy even stood up and started clapping. Literally like a Tumblr fanfic. He stood up, started clapping, and then like his friends and family erupted into applause. Now the judge is considering what bail should be, and we move on to the next stage, which will be the sentencing for these 2 charges, which carry a maximum of 10 years each. He's not going to be seeing the maximum. He probably won't even be seeing the minimum. They might just let him walk away with being forced to play League of Legends solo queue for like 2 months or something, and that'll be his punishment. It is such a fucking joke what just happened here. I actually still can't believe it. It is sickening. So I truly wouldn't be surprised if he just fully walks free from this, and I guess we can expect the grand reopening of Puffy Flavor Camp. Everyone out there, sleep in fear. Make sure you're sleeping on your back, because if you sleep on your stomach, P. Diddy might just break into your house in the middle of the night and shove a dildo up your ass. It is still just so fucking unbelievable to me. I thought this was dead to rights. Not only because of the overwhelming evidence, but also his team wasn't exactly a cohesive unit. Like, not that long ago, one of his big lawyers quit, saying he could no longer, under any circumstances, represent him, serve as a member of his council. And somehow, they were still able to squeak a win out from between P. Diddy's greased butt cheeks here. I don't know, did they promise, like, freak-off invitations to the jury? I have no clue. I don't get it. I really, truly do not understand how this just happened.
It's a mixed verdict, but it is a stunning victory for the defense. The Mann Act, these charges, these were the easiest for prosecutors to prove, the lowest hanging fruit, merely required showing that state lines were crossed for the purpose to engage in prostitution. We saw a lot of evidence on these charges, did not have that element, Laura, of force, fraud, or coercion. And this carries the lightest sentence of these charges. It is a maximum of 10 years. And keep in mind, when you're talking about maximums aren't the rule. They are the exception. They're for the most exceptional and severe cases. So now you're talking about a sentence that's potentially in the lower range with time served because he's been behind bars.
Yeah, again, he's definitely not seeing the maximum penalty for those charges. I would be surprised if he even saw the minimum. My guess would be, and of course I haven't passed the bar, so this is just fucking Neanderthal spitballing. My guess would be they'll weigh the time served behind bars throughout this case as like you've learned your lesson, and wiggle their finger, don't do it again, and give him some really light punishment. Very, very light sentencing. And then when he's out on bail or full-blown walks free, I imagine baby oil will go extinct. And I predict that there will be a freak-off the likes of which the cosmos has never seen. It'll be filled with so much degeneracy that it will give birth to Slanesh in the warp. In real life. It's going to be a Warhammer 40k event. It's just so fucking despicable, man. It really is.
What's going on, everybody? Spring Toy here, back with a video. We're back on a video on the channel. In today's video, we're doing another Ram Talk video. And you already know when it comes to Ram Talk videos, we always does it on the channel. You already know. Another Ram Talk video in today's video, of course. And in today's video, of course, we're going to be talking about, well, P Diddy and his fucking trial stuff that has been, like, the verdict and everything that's been going on, obviously with the whole situation that's been going on with the whole P Diddy situation. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have been following the whole entire P Diddy and the whole trial thing, what's been going on, let's just say it's been pretty interesting so far. And I've been catching up with all the news and everything. You know what I'm saying? I just want to give my thoughts, opinions on this whole entire situation and move on from there, obviously, you know what I'm saying, and see where we go from there, you know what I'm saying, obviously, and pretty much it, because yeah, this situation is pretty crazy if you really think about it, you know what I'm saying, but let me not go there, though. Obviously, with the whole PD situation, I'm sure you already know, with the whole entire, you know, the sex trafficking stuff, everything that PD has been doing for the past 20, 30 years has been caught up to him. You know, so obviously he was charged with got arrested, you know, all this type of stuff. They found baby oil shit. He's doing this little party shit that's been acting weird situation, you know, you know what I'm saying? The fuck party shit. You got a lot of celebrities being there with the white shirt and all that. Like, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of craziness, a lot of stuff that's been, you know, been going on, and that to the point where he got arrested and all type of stuff. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. And let's just say, man, it was a crazy situation. He got charged with racketeering conspiracy, to sex trafficking by force, you know, and the coercion shit, you know, so along with that, you know, saying transportation to engage in prostitution, all that. Like, there was a lot of charges that P Diddy was getting into, and he got locked up. He was on suicidal watch and all that. Like, there was a lot of situations that P Diddy was doing. That was the whole evidence and everything else that's been dropped against him. And, you know, everything that's been going on, it's been crazy. You know what I'm saying? I remember a couple of years ago, he got into like this he got the BET award for like the life achievement, you know, award, because how much he has put, you know, effort into, you know, the whole music industry and how important he was for like over 30 plus years. And yeah, he deserved it, but now it's like, damn, does he really deserve it with everything that's been going on with the whole the controversy of, you know, P Diddy, you know, all this other type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he has brought a lot of people into, you know, his lives, and you know, he has made music out of them, you know, for their careers. But however, outside of music, let's just say he had done some really crazy parties, or I should say fuck parties, whatever. But anyways, obviously last year before that, or was it 2 years ago, a year ago, I can't remember, he got arrested or something like that. That's why I remember he got arrested, right? And he was charged with all these I'm mentioning. And the video clip I'll show you guys from a YouTuber named Charlie, Moist Critical. I'll link the whole video and all that so you can understand what he talked about from his point of view, down below in the description. He got charged with it, got arrested, you know what I'm saying? They found a lot of baby oil shit that was going on. The memes of the baby oil was going all around this fucking shit. I mean, it was insane. It was crazy, and a lot of people has been victimized by P Diddy. Of course, started to go on trial. You know, start to, you know, stand against him. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, stand on trial against him, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they did the trial. Took like a couple of months, whatever, and then the verdict came. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you guys saw the whole verdict thing. He was not guilty on the whole sex trafficking by force, whatever. There were 2 counts of it. He's not guilty on both of these. He was not guilty on the racketeering conspiracy, so he's not guilty on that one. However, he was guilty on the transportation to engage in prostitution, which is 2 counts. So basically, 2 counts of the transportation engagement in prostitution means like 10 years in prison at maximum. So basically, altogether, he, you know, saying he could potentially get 20, but here's the thing: it's maximum. And consider all the time he has served, they're probably going to give a slap of the wrist because of that, and because of and now if you were to be guilty of sex trafficking by force and all that type of stuff, he would have got at least maybe about 15 or plus years in prison, all types of stuff. That would have been crazy. But because he's not guilty on those sex trafficking by force, he's not guilty on those along with racketeering conspiracy, and he's guilty, however, on the transportation to engage in prostitution. He's more likely going to get lighter sentence because of this. So I guess for Diddy's defense team, they're applauding. There's also reports that P Diddy, when he crazy enough, when P Diddy got guilty, like when it comes to the verdict and everything, P Diddy started clapping. I heard there was reports like say he was clapping, he was applauding that this verdict came, along with his family members and his friends. They were happy about this because, of course, when it comes to transportation to engage in prostitution, there's like at least like at maximum 10 years in prison. However, he has been indicted to 2 counts, so it could be 20 years. But however, because the amount of time he has served during those times, he's more likely going to get a lighter sentence. And as I'm recording this, they're thinking about giving the defender team. They're pushing to potentially give him at least about maybe 3 to 5 year prison, or maybe less than that. But my prediction, he's probably going to get even like maybe a couple months of probation or whatever, because the amount of time he spent in the cell, they're probably going to give him that little slap of the wrist thing, because transportation engaged in the prostitution thing. That's a very serious thing. But however, if we're all being honest, it's more likely going to be a slap of the wrist because of this. So honestly, with all this being said, with the verdict being there, a lot of people were very upset about this verdict, you know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of evidence that was going around P Diddy that he was doing these crazy shit with the sex trafficking and shit and all that type of stuff that he was going through, what he did and all type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Despite the hard evidence that was leaned towards, the people, that was like going against P Diddy, whatever. The judge eyes didn't see that way, so they gave him a lighter charge with transportation to engage sex and prostitution stuff. And well, I mean, they gave him 2 counts of it, but there's no way he's gonna spend 20 plus years in prison for that shit. He's more likely gonna be like get a slap of wrist of a potential, maybe about a couple months in jail, whatever, or maybe about 1 or 2 years, because the amount of time. Because while he was in the verdict or indicted with all these, basically, he's already served his time. So more likely, we're more likely gonna see him probably out, and all this other type of stuff, and then potentially the baby oil shit's gonna be extinct when it's all shit's done. More likely it's gonna be going on sale and shit when he's probably doing all this whatever. Like, it's gonna be crazy, and there's gonna be a ton of fuck parties and everything that's gonna be known to man when he's all out, and then he's gonna be doing this party shit. Like, it's like he's more likely gonna be getting out in no time and all that type of stuff. So it's not surprising to me. Like I said, when I heard about this, I thought to myself, like, despite all the evidence, he still got away. So that's basically what this looks like. He got away with it, and there's a lot of evidence that he did all of this stuff. And despite all that, they said, well, we're going to give you the transportation engagement in prostitution. We're going to get you on guilty on those in 2 counts, and you're going to probably walk free in 2 or 3 years. Good? You good on that, PD? He's going to say good on that one. So that's basically what we got here. And yeah, despite a lot of evidence, a lot of people backing up this whole evidence, a lot of people there stand on trial against him, and backing up the old evidence and all type of stuff, what he did to the evidence, and just you know what I'm saying, despite all this, unfortunately, he's probably more likely going to be walking free, because I know the sex trafficking and stuff would have been like at least about, like, he would have got like 15 years in prison, something like that. That's like at maximum. So he probably would have served like maybe about 3/4 of it, but unfortunately, he only got the 2 counts of transportation engagement and prostitution. So it's unfortunate, but hey, it's not surprising to me. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, when you have so much money, power, fame, and the fortune that P Diddy has, because he has a lot of money, like P Diddy's not just on broke motherfucker. He's been doing this for 30 plus years, and he has a lot of money on the table. And I guess when you have a lot of money on the table and and everything. I guess you can get away with everything. You know what I'm saying? You can bribe people from not snitching on you. You can bribe the fucking American system, the justice system. You can bribe a fucking baby or bribe someone to get some baby or whatever, some shit that he doing, and you can get away with anything that's no tomorrow. So when I think about this whole entire situation, honestly, it all comes down to just money. And with the amount of money that P Diddy has, he pretty sure beaten this shit and got away with it. Yeah, he was guilty on maybe the 2 counts of the transportation to engage in prostitution, but that's the lighter sentence. The big sentence is the sex and trafficking. If he had got guilty on both of those, he would have been done. He would have been locked up for the rest of his life. But because he only got, transportation to engage in prostitution, well, he got slapped in the wrist, and he's more likely going to be out within like maybe 5, 4, 3, 2 years. I don't know. I mean, we'll wait and see, and then he might get some rehabilitation, whatever, some probation, whatever, some ankle monitors, just in case he doesn't leave the country, whatever. Because before he got arrested, he was about to leave the country. He was about to get away because he realized the feds, they were on his ass, and they found some baby oils and some fuck party shit going on. Some wild shit that was going on, and he was about to flee the country, but they caught his ass before he fled the country. So, yeah, they're gonna more likely gonna do with that, and then they're gonna like, well, you saw your sentence, you learn your lesson. They're gonna make him walk scot free, and you already know what P Diddy's gonna do. He's gonna buy a whole lot of baby oil. It's gonna be called P Diddy Oil 2, whatever, and he's gonna throw some fuck party. He's gonna have Jay-Z coming. He's gonna have Meek Mill coming. He's gonna have everybody start busting open. I mean, pause, but you already know how that's gonna be. But you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's unfortunate. And despite all the evidence that was stacked against him, he still walked free. Unfortunately, he basically got away with it. The woman, what's her name, Casso, who literally was the woman that was okay with this whole entire fucking, P Diddy, fuck party or fuck tail, whatever the thing is, because there was text messages between him and P Diddy, doing this whole little agreement to fuck party, whatever. She had numerous of time leaving the dude, but she refused to do that because she realized the money was on the table. And when she had enough, she was basically going to call the feds, whatever, snitch, whatever. But P Diddy was like, no, don't tell. I'll give you whatever money, whatever. But, she was going to do all that. Obviously, she got her ass kicked by, P Diddy with the whole camera stuff, which is unfortunate because that was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Like, when I found about that, I was like, damn, this girl was an abusive relationship. But despite all this, she still came back to Diddy for some odd reason, you know what I'm saying? I guess because the amount of money he got, pretty much it. But that's not here. That's not here about Cassie or whatever. It's about P Diddy's verdict, and that, all that type of stuff. And let's just say, well, he's basically gonna walk scot free for what I could tell. So it looks like that's what they're gonna be leaning towards too. And honestly, I'm not surprised. Like I said, when I heard about this, I said, well, are we surprised about this? Because P Diddy has a lot of money. He has he has a lot of money to get a really good lawyer and all this type of stuff. And when you get good lawyers and all that type of stuff, you'll beat any cases and whatever. You know what I'm saying? If it was a regular motherfucker, it was a regular person who has no money, whatever, it would have been guilty on all counts and then sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole, whatever shit. And but when it comes to P Diddy, I guess you got the money, got the power, got the fame, you got everything that you can get to get away with this type of shit. You can fool anybody. You can fool the person trying to snitch on you. You can fool the fucking justice system. You can fool anybody. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, people gonna think that they didn't come to money. They just didn't find anything in the evidence, whatever. They found a whole lot of evidence against P Diddy. So I don't want to hear none of that shit in the comment section. They found everything. They found everything the way he was guilty of. Yet they did only guilty on the whole transportation to engage prostitution on 2 accounts. He was guilty. He should have been guilty of sex trafficking. He knew what the fuck he was doing. Like there was proof of everything. There was a lot of evidence on that. And even then, despite all of this, the justice system, who knows if they was going to give advice to the fuck party if they were to not put P Diddy on guilty or not guilty, whatever. I don't know. The fucking justice system is so stupid. It's so competent. They're dumb. Like to say that because they'll just. I guess if you give them whatever, how much money you can give them, whatever, or bribe them, I guess, or invited to a fuck party, whatever. I guess you can literally get a slap on the wrist of a verdict, whatever. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's sad, but it's also not surprising because, I mean, he got a whole lot of money to he could literally hire the best lawyers in the world, and I guess he did, and resulted of that. Well, he's not gonna be coming out coming out of prison within the next 3 years or maybe a couple months. Who fucking knows? Because they're gonna set a trial around late 2025, and you're gonna see what his court date and all this other type of stuff that's gonna be going on. So I guess we'll wait up on that one. Because obviously, with that being said, they're gonna see what he's gonna be sentenced to, and then after that, it's like all up from there. It's in God's hands at this point. So yeah, yeah, this is not shocking to me. Like I said, he had enough money to do whatever the fuck he wanted to. Whether he want to throw a party or baby oil shit or get some lawyers to get him out of the situation. So he's blessed. He is very blessed by God, by money and power and everything else, and a fucked up, American system, a fucked up justice system. Like, he's really, really lucky, and they're gonna give him a slap on the wrist. So I'm not surprised about this at all, because, like I said, I figured that he was gonna be done. I figured he wasn't gonna be done though, because even though yes, the lawyer that did represent him did left because he did not want to represent him because it was too complicated, whatever. I think it looked like Diddy was like cooked at one point, but then however, when we have another backup lawyer, I guess, and we have a fucked up American system and justice system that don't look at evidence and shit, I guess you can get away with it and you could be not guilty on a serious charges. You know what I'm saying? Because the transportation and engaged prostitution, those are not serious charges as the sex trafficking by force charges. They're very serious, but the transportation, engagement, and prostitution, it's not serious. It's just a slap of the wrist type shit. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it on everything on the whole verdict and everything else. I know some of you guys are shocked about this, but me, I'm not, because like I said, the justice system is stupid, and if the justice system is stupid, you get away with anything. And like I said, this is not the first time that this whole situation happened to a person that get away with some lot of shit, and the justice system got it all wrong in some sense, and it won't be the last. So yeah, honestly, like I said, he got away with it. So I mean, honestly, it's unfortunate, what I'm saying, for the victims and for them to have to go through this shit at the hands of P Diddy, but hopefully they get their safety or whatever, because this whole entire situation is really heated up. And yeah, honestly, don't know what to say about this other than the fact that, well, you got away with it. So yep, fuck the justice system. Anyways, besides that though, I ain't got nothing to say, man. Think I'll watch it. Leave a like, subscribe. What are your thoughts on the whole entire, P Diddy, verdict and all type of stuff down below in the comment section down below. That's pretty much it, what I'm saying. Obviously, they're going to do his little sentencing. I think that's what they're going to try to see what he's going to be sentenced to. And just see if we go from there. So, yeah, I mean, I ain't got nothing to say, man. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, take care of them out. Peace.